Hello everybody, it's I, Zankoku, bringing you a horror movie review. That's right, a horror movie. I just recently watched the movie Don't Breathe, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to tell you what I thought about it. Yeah, I know I'm a couple weeks late with this, but I haven't actually had a chance to go see this movie because one thing after another kept happening. But I'm here, better late than never. So, I've heard a lot of good things about this movie. I was very intrigued by the trailer. And so, what did I think? Well, let's get into the review. Don't Breathe is about three criminals, three hoodlums who go around, break into people's homes and steal their valuables and then sell them to a local fence. One of those is a woman who I believe has a daughter. I think it's a daughter. It's either that or a younger sister, but for clarity's sake, I'm gonna assume it's a daughter. She is living with her mother in a trailer park in Detroit, and she wants to get some money so that she could leave Detroit and go to California because California is sunshine and lollipops. Just leave Detroit. And it's kind of funny how, like, this is another movie, horror movie, that takes place in Detroit. I mean, what are they trying to say? Anyways, so of course her mother is the character's mother is a complete asshole, and they're trying to create this sort of sympathy for this character, but it's hard to get sympathy for people who are criminals and kind of assholes. Like the I guess leader of the crime syndicate is a stereotypical two-dimensional hoodlum who you really just don't like. He's a complete ass. And then you get this sort of clean-cut, goody two-shoes guys who's really only there because of the girl and because his father works for a security company and he is their in to get access to all these homes. So, trying to get the money to go to California, they receive this hot tip from one of the fences that there's this guy who lives by himself in a house kind of in the middle of a unpopulated area. If you don't know Detroit, there are a lot of places where there is just abandoned house after abandoned house after abandoned house. And he's kind of in the middle of one of those areas, so it's not like one of those things where there's lots of patrols and lots of people who really give a shit to see, hey, these people are going into this guy's house. So they heard that this guy got a bunch of money, and they want to steal that money so that they can all go to California. And of course, the goody two shoes, clean cut guy is like, I don't know, this sounds bad. Stealing money is a higher class of felony and all that kinds of stuff. But of course, because the woman wants to really do this, he caves like the little spineless jerk that he is. And they go into the house, and lo and behold, the guy who owns the house is a war vet who is blind, and they make too much noise, thinking that the war vet was incapacitated. But he comes out, figures out, hey, there's these people here, and instead of it becoming them overtaking the war vet and then stealing the money, it becomes a cat and mouse where the war vet turns the tables on the people breaking in and hunts them down. And this war vet has a secret locked away inside the home. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, though. If you saw previews for it, you probably kind of get an idea what's going on. Anyways, this guy is a lot more dangerous than anyone thinks. And this whole movie is about tension. It's about creating this unease throughout where it's like, oh, I can't make any noise. I can't breathe. I can't do this or that because the guy's going to hear me, and he'll just appear out of nowhere. And it does a really good job of that. There's a bunch of jump scares in this movie. Not as many as I thought there was going to be, but they are quality ones. There's one toward the beginning which just bam, hits you like really hard because you weren't even expecting anything like that to be happening. So that was really awesome. But after you kind of get like the story going and you find out like the secret, it stops getting as tense as it was kind of in the beginning of the house break-in, and kind of goes a little more action than I expected it, but it still did create a level of tension. And the thing that really bothers me though is toward the end you get a lot of stupid choices by the quote unquote protagonists, even though they're jerks. And the choices that they make really don't allow you to kind of even feel better about being for these people. They do some stupid things and you just kind of like get annoyed and you feel like, well, these people kind of deserve what kind of bad things they would get if they're caught. And of course, this is sort of a movie where you just don't know there's no one you can really latch onto. At least I couldn't latch onto anyone to say, hey, I'm with this person. I care about this person. Kind of like the clean cut guy, is probably the only one who has any semblance of a conscience in this movie, but he is so quick to sell that conscience out for some pussy. And, I mean, I guess maybe I can't blame the guy for selling out for some poon, but it's just annoying because like no one has any real principles in this movie. Anyways, I've heard a lot of flack though about the ending. A lot of people that I've heard said it should have ended at a certain point, and I kind of see where that point was, where they thought it would have ended, and it would have kind of created a nice creep out, uneasy ending. But the ending that they did go with was kind of interesting, and I did like some of the explaining that happened toward that last half, and then of course there's a scene that, oh my gosh, I mean, just the whole setup and the scissors and the thing. I mean, it was just. I'm glad that they actually put that in there because that was kind of messed up, and I found it enjoyable. But overall, this movie had just a level of unlikability with its characters that made it really hard to kind of feel invested in their escaping, especially after they made such stupidly horrendous bad decisions. And, that's a death sentence in a horror movie. So, let's get to the scores. So, Violence and Gore, it's an R-rated movie. I think it's an R-rated movie. I heard of the F-bomb in there, and there was content that I would think would be R, but maybe I'll have to double check that rating. But Violence and Gore, I mean, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of stuff. I mean, there was violence, there was people getting shot, there was an interesting shot, facial thing that went on. That was kind of interesting, but overall, a lot of the violence was just kind of like punching and throwing people on the walls and grappling and, some shooting, but nothing really graphic, nothing really disgusting, nothing, no one's throat got ripped out or some guy's hand got chopped off or nothing like that. None of that happened. So, I mean, I want to say that there was enough violent content to give it an average score, but no, you know what? Fuck that. Sure, I'm changing it. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. On second thought, there wasn't really a lot of violence in this movie. I mean, there was violent moments, but it just didn't really have any impact. So I'm giving it 2 out of 5. Shock value, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, and most of that score is because of the shock of that one scene. But honestly, they had some very good jump scares in there. Not as many as I expected and kind of wanted a little bit more frights in there. but it wasn't like a long movie. The movie kind of flowed rather quickly, so you didn't really have a lot of time to push everything in there. So, but that scene with the 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 thing and I don't want to give it away, but there's like a frozen or a cool bottle of something and something, and you're like, what's he gonna do and what's going on? Anyways, but so there you go, 3 out of 5 shock value. We are going to plot. Plot. Honestly, I'm giving it a average 2.5 out of 5. It's very straightforward. It's stuff that's really been done before. Criminals trying to do their last big score and something goes wrong. Home invasion movie. Though, yes, they kind of turn it on its head, but that actually happens in other movies too, where the intruders become the hunted, or the hunters become the hunted. So honestly, it's just really average. The twists in there were okay, but nothing really special. But it does the job. So I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. The acting, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I didn't like the acting of the guy who played the main hoodlum. I thought he just was too stereotypical and had, just felt like an ass. I mean, I guess that's what he was supposed to be, so I guess he did a good job with that, but I don't know. I just felt like there was no nuance to his character, I guess. And then, of course, the clean-cut guy, he felt very average, and the main female character, I thought she was okay. She did a good job, but man, what was his name? Lang? Stephen Lang, I think, the guy who plays the blind guy. He was good. He was menacing. He had very little things to say, but when he said them, they had weight, and the look that he had to do, and playing blind and everything like that, I thought he did a magnificent job, and he's most of the score, so I'm giving it 3 out of 5, mostly on his performance. So then we get to Nudity. 0 out of 5. However, let's be honest, there wasn't any opportunities for such in the plot. There really wasn't. I mean, unless toward the end, but no, it doesn't happen. So 0 out of 5. It didn't need it, but they could have thrown some things in there. But at least there wasn't any shower scenes that pisses you off. So that's a good thing. So then we go to my enjoyment factor. My enjoyment factor was a solid 3.5 out of 5. I didn't enjoy this movie as much as I thought I was going to. Maybe that was a sort of high expectations. And I really liked Lights Out. And this movie, I found myself to get a little bit like, oh, come on, let's get on with it. At some spots, and the fact that these characters weren't very likable, and that they did such stupid things throughout the movie that really made you angry. There was chances where they could have escaped, and they did the stupidest stuff to not get out. And I mean, toward the end, oh my god, I was going to, what the hell are you doing? Just go, do it, go. What are you doing? Anyways, so there you go. 3.5 out of 5. It would have been higher if I had a little bit more likability of the characters and things like that. So that brings us to my overall impression of the movie. And honestly, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a solid horror movie. It's got some scares, but the plot is very basic, and the characters are kind of assholes that you really don't like, and they have moments where they can redeem themselves, and they fail, and maybe that's the point of the story, is that, if you don't do stupid, idiot things and be criminal scum, perhaps you don't end up getting in a situation like you ended up in. I'm just saying. I don't know. But there you have it. I will put my average score here once I tabulate it, because I decided not to figure it out before I got there. So there you have it. Don't Breathe. I liked it. Could have been better, but still solid movie. And I'm actually kind of happy. I've seen 3 solid horror movies so far this year that I really liked. One was like super excellent, one was pretty good, and one was, or I guess it was, one was super excellent, one was great, and one was okay, pretty good. So I'm looking forward to some other things. Though I heard that the Disappointments Room was disappointing. So maybe I'm not going to be watching that. I don't know. So what did you guys think about Don't Breathe? Leave a comment in the comment section. And if you like the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And if you're watching on Minds, then, give a reminder. Because it's not retweet, it's a reminder on Minds. But anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll have another video where I will talk about something else related to that. So, anyways, that is it. And I am going to say, hey, don't forget to vote card here for the name of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. I think Rainbows from Hell is actually winning, but it only has 2 votes. So you still have a chance to go to that video, comment or thumb up the ones that you like to see, and we're going to have a winner. Just 3 weeks until Halloween, or not Halloween, but October. So you guys go ahead and vote, and I will see you next time. Stay scary, Internet.